I ask you to please have an open mind to all that I am going to share with you today. And if anyone has shared with you this video, please don't take it out on them. Take it out on me. You know why everything and everyone matters, and not just one thing or person? Because everything and everyone is being denatured or violated upon in some form. And let me make this very clear. I love all people, no matter who they are, okay? I want to make that very clear because I see the reasons as to why everybody comes about. Okay, now back to what I'm getting at. The real threat is actually statism and immorality. In fact, that is the roots to any one thing that matters. However, please let me explain. Okay? In fact, equality is highest in recognizing nature. To focus on any one thing among many is divisive in the very nature, especially when it comes to inheritance from nature itself. With greater recognition of all present across all people, there exists little controversy and all understanding, because it's utmost relatable to all peoples. To focus on one thing of a far greater problem is not treating the whole body. It is equivalent to giving a drug that doesn't consider the other organs, therefore creating an unstable or unbalanced situation that comes with risks many may not realize till more happens. Therefore, not only is it forgetting the root cause being an embodiment of manifestation, meaning multiple forces at work in specific conditions, it is also forgetting the bigger picture. Due to this somewhat contradictory nature, it is best to take this knowledge right from nature. Taking a look at truth, we all are equal. Taking a look at history, every type of thing and person has been oppressed before in some way. Taking a look at government, it is the very concept that causes the most atrocity and is directly opposed to truth due to it not being in alignment with natural law. This only makes sense being that government produces man's law and is embedded with pharmaceutical empires focused on man's medicine. It is clear that our world is placed in ego, that many individuals are projecting upon others, that many individuals lack tolerance or presence. There is still those who are present and tolerant and seek understanding, but they often allow chaos to run amok freely, even if it's being used for a greater agenda that isn't nearly direct to know, hear, or see. It is clear that some observe and others act before thinking. It is clear that some just go with the flow without thinking too much into it through time. It is clear that the propagator of bias, propaganda, violence, and fear is social media and the mainstream media. The law of freedom states that a lack of freedom means a lack of morality, and that a lack of morality means a lack of freedom. Again, backing up the previous point said about the roots to what is only symptoms of a bigger picture. Government and statism, that is the bigger picture. Individuals are afraid to speak their mind, afraid to go against the grain, especially now online and oh so coincidentally midst the censorship upon dissenting voices taking place online. So individuals such as myself can't even help you understand a different point of view? That's all I'm doing here. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. I'm sharing objective and observable understandings. Some are more hardcore than this, and perhaps you should seek to understand them too if you truly have patience, tolerance, and want to learn. Cognitive dissonance, in effect, prevents learning or innovation because it is not accepting new information into your current reality. We all live different lives from one another, and do we realize that if you disavow violence yet promote a message that seems to propagate it, that perhaps it's because focusing on morality would help fix both, and that the message as movement is not focused on morality, but rather a random occurrence of birth often due to your family background and sun exposure? Why isn't violence then the focus? Or basically, ultimately, all the forms of theft? How about the lack of care present within the world? Individuals ironically also then hate the government, yet ask the very same government to reform. There is no being the change, and chanting a trendy phrase on social media is short of action and does nothing to create specific natural law abiding change. The nature of the subject, of course, is controversial. However, adding on top of that, asking for certain special privileges for certain individuals, therefore creating even more of a natural division, even if there's good intentions. It's like feeding a fire. And feeding an ego by forcing someone or pressuring someone to do or say something is just as immoral because it's violating the law of equality. The fact that we are all equal as human beings regardless of anything else. In fact, it only makes sense the media, that is, of the government, feeds these fears for more clicks and special attention, and feeds the division for divide and conquer, as ultimately a government power grab. If we all kept encouraging each other to be more moral and more kind and have simple needs, including food, water, love, and family, do you think any systematic problems would arise? Therefore, if you want to treat the symptom and prevent all other problems from manifesting, it's best to treat the root that prevents and treats. If you were talking to a moral person, do you think they care a whole lot about an unchangeable inherited appearance? No. But perhaps they care about your changeable, non-inherent morals and actions and beliefs in care itself. So if you want to feed the fire, go ahead and keep repeating the symptom. If you want to heal the world, go ahead and keep doing the objective moral actions with beliefs that seek universal care and alignment. Even governments in the very nature are divisive from simply flag usage, border use, banking, and many immoral actions. However, don't blame the government. We are the change, and we must be the change. No government exists without the people's belief in needing one and feeding one. If we all own ourselves, don't you think it's a bit contradictory to have some form seek ownership of many aspects that make up you? And when all the media and government institutions support your agenda of a non-universal, divisive in nature, non-root targeted, and non-big picture movement, do you question why that is? Do you really think they were pressured to do this? Or were they convinced, just like you, that it was something good to promote, when in reality somebody of higher political status is using it as a political tool? Focus on humanity as a whole and morals. All matters where you set your mind and focus. You can crowd out the symptomful bad by adding in the innately as meant to be good. Without looking at the whole and teaching others to look at the whole, what else are we just looking at that's simply not holistic and therefore not healthy? I understand that certain individuals do not want to risk their life or identity, so they go along with it. But who will stand up for the truth then? Because does it matter what everyone thinks if it has nothing to do with the objective truth? Focusing on man's law enforcement is the same problem. It is not looking at the bigger picture nor targeting the root cause. Funny enough, they have the same bigger picture and root cause, a lack of focus on humanity and morality. No surprise, it's the domino effect of not understanding the underlying problems. Now, certain things are constant, others are not. Certain things certain individuals face, certain things develop in time and in different ways. Have you done the thinking upon all this? There are plenty of denatured things to talk about. There's also the need to talk about children, family, censorship, and immunity as just some examples. Indeed, coronavirus is just another part of a greater picture with also potentially greater agendas at play. Your cause could be truly just if you simply choose to shift the focus to that of which promotes justice in all forms. Since everything in nature is created for a reason, technically all matters, and nothing can undo or provide exceptions to the truth or that of such words. You may say the real divide actually lives with freedom versus slavery, which still exists, or morality versus immorality, or collectivism versus individualism, or in consciousness, or in artificial wealth. Be the change, therefore, non-invasively prove to others that you are no different if you feel indifference within your personal life. Indeed, the focus on a collective group of inheritance has also no focus on individualism. Silence is not inherently bad either, and has no correlation to being part of any problem. In fact, only the opposite in many cases, because no actions are being done, so nothing back can be received. Therefore, inaction, as taught in the Tao, is often essential and would therefore eliminate problems because problems wouldn't be created in the first place. This is all a lesson to not join cult-like movements and to think before you speak. There's concerns about farmers, animals, plants, literally everything. With the unbalanced mindset, there is often a constant shame on the group being attacked or focused upon as for need of change. Therefore, it's akin to saying you need to change, you are the problem, and I'm not going to help you up with me, and I'm not going to show you by example. Sounds a lot like self-doubt and fear to me, just like what the coronavirus and masks has done in society. Now back to the point at hand. Because all matters and does so innately, without necessity of myself even having to say it, nature or God matters. Guess what's also innately true? The fact there is never a perfect balance. The fact that everybody has faults somewhere at some time. The fact that individuals on any side of any debate have faults that aren't seen or dealt with. The fact that nobody is perfect and can be perfect. Individuals also naturally make assumptions about others, and depending on the conditions and experiences they have and see or hear. Nothing is going to stop human nature where we all make stereotypes of one another, where we all criticize one another. We do this often in our head too, and we don't have to share that with others. We don't have to base our actions on it either. But see, these specific case examples go unmentioned. They go unrecognized. Why? Because again, nobody is looking to recognize the deeper and bigger picture. This is not a projection on behalf of me. It is a projection on behalf of everyone's innate humanity. So I'm actually preaching what I practice because it also applies to my medicine practice. I don't care for who you are. You are as an individual human being, and therefore you can become healthy as your unique bio-individual blueprint is becoming optimized. However, you have a different state of health compared to others, and you come from different backgrounds. You have different understandings. You may have preconceived notions about dieting, for example, which is another collectivist and non-individual, non-big picture mindset. You may even have vitamin D deficiency due to the skin of your color, the color of your skin. You may even have left brain imbalance if you are a cop. But I'm still going to help you regardless of where you stand. We are all one and the same, simply with different experiences and comings about. To know this solves all inequality and imbalance. It is no coincidence that this left brain dominant world infested by government creates a situation where everyone is criticizing one another instead of accepting one another. Do you think it helps to call for acceptance of only one kind of person? No, it helps to call for acceptance, period. The government is reflective to who we are, as individuals accumulated. To think that you are changing the system by promoting a faulty in nature cause is actually just keeping the very same system up, because the system in its nature was founded on certain humans having the presumed natural right to rule over another, and it was founded on man's law that is backed by violence and negative expression, and therefore immorality. If people cannot live a life full of fulfillment, it has to do with their personal life. People who want to do bad will find a way to do bad. People who want to do good will try to do good, and they will find the right opportunities to do so as well. And this is like the expression, a hater's gonna hate. Here I am to accept the controversy. Please throw a bunch of words at me. Please call me names. That would be so not counterintuitive for your supposedly unifying cause. Because isn't that the main goal anyways, unity? Well, as we have observed, that doesn't seem to be the case from the agendas to the lacking of understanding. It only creates more division in extremes and gaps of ego or self-blame or social pressures. So I ask you personally, are you listening to social media and the mainstream media? Or are you listening to nature? Where did you get your ideas from? Are you projecting? What if you put yourself in everyone else's shoes? And if for any moment you wonder why we are losing our rights, it's because people don't know what rights are, what objective right and wrong is. Any freedom is going away because of us all. How individuals react speaks upon their tolerance. A relaxed and happy, loving world is a healthy world. Regardless of any bad you see, the good is of need of highest focus. Focus on the betterment of yourself, your interactions with others, and even with nature itself. The law of attraction is the natural law, is also cause and effect, is also God's law, karmic law, and moral law in the golden rule, do unto others as you would want done unto you, or face consequences. To understand natural law automatically takes down that of which is not meant to be, that of which is not right or moral. Is it a coincidence that this knowledge has been kept hidden, as known as occult knowledge, by the government and media? Understand what's really in control of this planet: love or fear itself, not the baseless focus on symptoms of it. It's easy to jump on board with what you are bombarded with and what is pressured upon you, instead of actually using input and having the use of creative willpower. If you want the world to become obligated to use the force of love, creative willpower, and input alike, then you seek freedom, you seek morality. Again, these are all positive expressions. These positive expressions also contribute to further critical thinking and common sense. Any coincidence that is leaving the world and continues to? Good, moral people are letting this happen. All the answers we need are already present within the world we live in. We live in an age of ego, where individuals will twist the truth to their ideology. As an individual being, if there's no objective injustice of racism I can actively point to within my daily life, I do not see it, and therefore I can also then not act upon it. If I do, then I will. But making all the fuss out in the open without showcasing and targeting specific examples is akin to asking for controversy, like going to court without a prepared case. If I fixed the problem, do you think I would go out of my way to tell everyone in order to boost my ego? Do you also think complaining about the situation to others for one individual's actions among many helps either? Especially when there are many specific actions, just like many specific people? Your fear as energy reflects to that of the world. Staying detached away from the situation actually lessens your contribution to the media or others that feed on fear and makes the world more violent due to the reflection of energy. You cannot see levels of white without having levels of black, just like how you cannot see levels of black without having levels of white. And there are many colors, and we all have each, and we all need each other. See, your very mind sets the stage for the world events to take place. If you have an open heart, you have an open mind. If you want to open minds, share your intention and share this video alongside, so that those with open hearts can expand their minds, so that those with closed minds can start opening their heart to more than what their mind permits. Thank you. Be brave and speak for the universal truths that are purposefully kept away for the sake of creating division, when in reality we are all connected to one another. Anyone that seeks to disband or manipulate or intercept this connection is someone who is immoral at best. We can be moral and show love to one another. Let's do it for the sake of your love of God and nature. Share her true self to others with this video. Thank you. I love you as a human being. If you are to make any claims about those who simply share this video, like I said, instead share it to me. And if you are to share it to me, I'd prefer you tell me face to face, or where we can talk as humans and in person. The truth is always far from the mainstream. No sides. This isn't a sports game, but they want you to think that it is. because they are playing on you. Please consider these thoughts, and especially consider your fellow human beings, or those who don't always agree about every little thing, or those who may not agree with you. I bet, somewhere at some time, we all can agree with one another. But the big question is, do you want to?